Welcome back, everyone. I'll go and show you exactly how to use your Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. This is going to be a pretty basic tutorial. It's going to be a complete beginner's guide for the most part. I'm hoping you have a small understanding of how to use phones, how to call people and different things like that. But these are going to be features and how to basically get up to speed on your Galaxy S21 FE. Now, I saved you the burden of the setup process. As soon as you boot up your Galaxy S21 FE, you're prompted to set up this device. It's a very easy process. If you've ever set up any phone before, it's the same thing. It's a lot of personal information, so you should probably know how to do it by now, to be honest. Now on the front, we do have a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. 120Hz, which means the display is much smoother. We have a front-facing camera right here. We do have an inbuilt fingerprint sensor in the display, which is in this specific area right here. On the bottom, we have our USB Type-C port, which is where we can go and charge our phone, speaker set, microphone, as well as our SIM card eject and eject tool. So if we want to put in a SIM card, what we can do is we can go ahead and grab our SIM card eject tool, which comes in the box. It looks something like this. And all we have to do is find this little hole right here. And we just have to take out the SIM card by putting in this, SIM card eject tool right in that specific hole, pressing down. We can go and take out our SIM card eject tool like this. And we can go and put in our SIM card right here in this little slot. And all we have to do at that point is go ahead and slide it back in into the same exact area where we put it in first. Slide it in, press it in, and your phone should be able to go ahead and recognize a SIM card now, which is really cool. Now once you do that, we can move our way to the back, and we actually have a plastic back on this device. We do have wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is really cool. We have our flash, and we have a triple camera setup here, a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens, which is really, really awesome. Now on this side, we have our, an antenna band right here. We have a power button and our volume up and down buttons. There's nothing at the top except for another microphone, and there's nothing on this side either. And that pretty much covers up the outside. Now we can click on that power button and we can come straight into our lock screen. So within our lock screen, if any of you have ever used a Samsung phone before, very easy way to understand. We will always have our time and date right here. We will have our status bar up here, which will show, your signal. For me, I don't have a SIM card here. Your battery percentage, Wi-Fi, all this other cool stuff right there too. And right here should be your notifications. Now, if you ever get notified of people, of texts or anything, that will come right in this area. So you're really not missing out on too much there. Now, if you want to go ahead and quickly call somebody, built-in natively is our little phone call option. So we can go ahead and drag this to the side and we can actually pull up our phone call. Now let's say that was an accident, we don't want to go back. We can literally just swipe up and we can come back into our home screen, or we will be prompted to type in our passcode or our Touch ID. Now we can also, if we lock our phone again, we can always lock our phone by clicking the power button. We can turn it on this way, or we can also double tap the display to turn it on as well. On the right side, we have our camera, which we can go and boot up this way. And this is where you can go and take photos and videos and all this other crazy stuff, which we'll get into in a second. Now, gestures on our Galaxy S21 FE are very important because it's going to go for every other Android and iPhone that you're ever going to own. Right here is a little tab bar. All you have to do is swipe up and you'll actually come out of that, specific application. Now, sometimes instead of that tab bar at the bottom like this one, you'll have the actual navigation buttons. The middle button is the home button, and the multitasking and the back button are there as well. Now this is our home screen. So again, how we get here was we double clicked here and we can swipe up and we'll come straight into our home screen. And this is where you're pretty much going to be every single day. Anytime you have to maneuver through your device, you're probably going to start here. Now I'm not going to go super into detail of how to customize your phone and all that stuff. Mostly what I'm going to tell you is the basic layout. So you can have widgets and you can have applications. So here is a widget and here are our applications. If you ever want to add a widget or application, you can hold down on our home screen right here. And here is where you can go and customize a little bit more of your home screen. You can also delete home screens. And you can also, if we tap back in here, you can swipe between the different displays that you have. So personally, I don't have any other applications set up. So let's say I wanted to move some of these applications or delete them. Let's say, I don't like the Galaxy Store here, and I want to move it to a different page. Well, I can go ahead and hold down on the Galaxy Store icon here, and I have some options. I can select it, I can delete it, or I can just go ahead and just kind of click out of it and kind of get out of that panel. In this case, I'll go and hold it down like this, and I can go and actually wiggle it around so I can go and grab it like this, and I can go and wiggle it around like this, and I can actually go ahead and bring it to a different page if I want to, and I can drop it here. So that goes to say with all the other applications that you want, and now you have multiple different panels you can go and go through, which is really cool. Now if we go ahead and swipe up, you will see all the applications that you have on your phone. So let's go and swipe up here. You can see I don't have too many apps, but here are all the applications that you have on your phone. So now you can go and spend some time to actually go through each one of these. You have apps like Facebook, phone calls, Netflix, different things like that. And that's really pretty much the basic understanding of the specific home screen. Now, swiping up again, some built-in apps on the home screen are very important. If you ever want to call somebody, you can go and click this call icon and you can make your calls. You can see your recents and your contacts here too. So if you have anybody that you want to contact, you can go through this method. Now, swiping up again, let's say you don't want to swipe up, or let's say you want to go back to the previous panel you were just in. Instead of swiping up and then closing it out, you can actually grab the side until you see that back arrow like you can see right here. I'll do it up here. And you can actually go back into the previous panel you were just in. So that's another cool little gesture. You also have your messages here. If you ever want to text anybody, you can go and click here. And as long as you have their phone number or their contact, you can go and contact them here too. And then you will also see these keyboards that come up. So this is very important. This is how you're going to communicate with everybody. If you ever used a keyboard before, it's the same thing. If you ever want to go ahead and drop this keyboard and you don't want to see this keyboard, you can go and click on this little down arrow and it will basically remove that keyboard here too. And again, if you want to go back, you can swipe back here and it'll bring you back to the previous panel. Now, if you actually want to go ahead and get into the previous application you were just in, so let's say we want to go back into the phone call method, what we can do is we can actually grab this little panel right here, just like how we swipe up. Instead of swiping up, we want to grab it and swipe to the side, and you can see we can actually swipe between applications. So this is another really cool thing. Instead of going through and actually just using one app or like swiping up and then finding the other app, you can actually just go ahead and swipe between these apps like this, and that's another really cool thing. Now, another even cooler thing is actually getting to our multitasking panel. So what we can do is we can actually swipe up and stop until you feel that vibration, and you will get into this panel. Now, what this is pretty much our multitasking split screen method. I mean, you can do a lot here. So you can swipe between all the applications that we've had on this specific phone. So you can see any app that you've used, you can go and see it. Now, if you don't really care for it, you can actually close out of these applications as well. Now, what this will do is it'll go ahead and close out of all the apps that we had in the background. Now, if we go ahead and go back into it, we go and swipe up, it'll say no recently used apps, and that's pretty much what you want to see every once in a while. Now, down here are some of your most frequently or most recently used applications, so you can quickly toggle down here too. And once you're done here, you can swipe up and you're pretty much back on the home screen. Now, another big thing to do is occasionally you may want to check your notifications or previous notifications you got. What we can do is we can grab our status bar down here and we can drag it down. And what this is, it's very, very important. Most of the time you will see notifications right here, just like how I have this notification. You will see notifications pretty much pop up here all the time. So if you get calls, text messages, Snapchats, Instagram messages, all those things will come up right here and populate over time. But up top here, you will see some quick toggles. Now, what those quick toggles are pretty much, things, quick settings. You can go and turn off and on Wi-Fi, sounds, Bluetooth, auto rotate, airplane mode, tons of different options there too. And if you want, you can actually go ahead and swipe down once more and you'll get into this panel. Now, it's almost like your lock screen, so you have the date and time right here. You have some quick settings right here. So if you want to search, power down your phone, go straight into settings, and you also have these three dots here, which allows you to edit things. You can go and do it there. And down here is where you have a lot more of those quick toggles. So right down here, you can actually go ahead and increase or decrease the brightness, which is really cool. You can go ahead and actually modify all these toggles, and there's way too many here, so there's no point in talking about each single one. But you can go and swipe between them. You can actually add more toggles here too, which is another really cool feature. So I would definitely get used to kind of seeing these things, and that's another big thing to kind of, keep in mind. Now, swiping out of here, we can come back to our home screen. Now, if you ever want to install applications on your phone, it's very easy. You make your way over to your Google Play Store like this, and this is like an app in and of itself. It's a whole ecosystem. You can occasionally go through here and see whichever apps you want to download. If you know which one you want to download, such as let's just say Instagram, we can go and click up top here. We can actually type in the name of the application. So I'll say Instagram. Most of the time, it'll already find it, so you can just click on it here. We go and click on the application, and we go and click on install, and it'll install the application. Now, all these apps, for the most part, once it's installed, will actually download and install in this specific area. So like I mentioned before, all the apps you'll pretty much find here. So you want to swipe through when you want to find that application. So you can see Instagram here. Now, let's say we want to bring it to our home screen. Very easy process. You hold it down, wiggle it around. You can drag it here to bring to your home screen. And now you can drop it wherever you want to. Now, let's say you don't want it here, you want to move it somewhere else. Well, it's the same exact process. You bring it here, drop it here, and that's really pretty much that. Now, let's go and make our way over to our settings. This is another really big application I would recommend keeping on your home screen. So find the settings icon here, and you want to go ahead and drag it, bring it to your home screen just like so. And now what we want to do is we want to open up our settings, and this is a very important application I'm going to spend the rest of the time talking about. So here you can basically modify so many different things of your phone. You can modify your connection settings, which is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever, sounds and vibration, notification settings, your display options, and there's a lot of options here like I mentioned. So I'd recommend getting used to it. It's not like a super simple thing where you're going to find it in one day and you're going to get used to it. It's definitely a process. So I'd recommend going through each one of these toggles and kind of getting used to it. You have your home screen, lock screen, biometrics and security, location, but one of the bigger things beyond, the advanced features, digital well-being, battery and device care is actually down here under About Phone and Software Update. So every once in a while, you may want to click on About Phone and make sure anything happened. And you just want to go ahead and see all your status information, battery information right here, which tells you your battery health, your software information, and all that. But a big thing, if we go and swipe back, like I mentioned before, is under Software Update. I would recommend updating your Android phone as soon as possible. So go ahead and boot up Software Update. You want to go and click on Download and Install, and it's going to find the most recent version of Android for you. Now, because your phone does run on Android, there's updates most of the time, and Samsung does a decent job at pushing updates every once in a while. So you want to go ahead and update your phone as soon as possible and as frequently as possible, maybe every week or two or every once a month. Just click on Software Update and make sure your phone is up to date on the most recent version of software. So that's pretty much it. That's a basic rundown of how to use your Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. If we swipe up, you'll pretty much come back on the home screen. Now at this point, you should have a decent understanding of how to use this phone. Again, there's a lot of different little tiny things we didn't really get into, but they're pretty much the same thing on a lot of other phones too. And the more you use your device, the more you're probably going to get used to it too. So I wouldn't be worried about, using a Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. These phones are really easy to use nowadays, and hopefully you have a good understanding by now. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.